Then we came up with a solution that allows us to have
Millions.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and today we're going to be taking a look at Dreamworld's latest update. Aren't you all excited? Well, you should be, because it's, as they said, they've been pushing out a big update. Not gonna lie, I've pushed out something more consistent than this in the last 30 minutes. Take that for what you will. Let's start. Avatar customization kickoff. Lots more to come. This is an absolute bottle of nightmare fuel. These photorealistic human faces had been modified to have Zack's face on them within 10 minutes of the game coming out. In-game chat. Now, I can't stress this enough. Oh lord, this was an absolute disaster. So, to have a chat system, you obviously need to have usernames, so you can define a different, define which player is which. That's an obvious thing. So what do you think they used to define who is who? Well, naturally, they decided to broadcast the second part of every user's MAC address. Oh Jesus, just stop. It's like, why? Anyone who thinks about this for 3 seconds can tell you why this is a horrendous idea. This is such a security breach that even Zack should have looked at this and gone, yeah, this is a bad idea, let's not do that. But no, Garrison decided that we're going to go full steam ahead with this. We're going to broadcast people's MAC addresses. It's like someone's hired Forrest Gump to make a game. Chest system overhaul. Now, they actually did take the advice that we gave in my last video, which was an entire rewrite of the chest system. Their chests now work, apparently. Which is fantastic, I can't complain at that, but for some reason it says you must replace your old chests to work, which tells me that the way they programmed them in the first place was so abysmally unoptimized that it's not even transferable in any sense of the word. Which, actually, is kind of weird that you must replace your old chests. So they left the old chests in for you to make your new chest. I just don't get it. Now, this is the one that's slightly confusing. Switch between first-person view, third-person, and more. Guys, this is the first game that you can play in second-person, whatever that means. Avatar replication improvements. So, it's quite easy to improve the avatar replication, the replication of animations showing up on each of the screens. It's quite easy to improve that when there was none in the first place. Anything above none is an improvement. Good job. Once again, this is an entire week's worth of updates that is now, we need to stop saying a 2-man team. It's now a 7-man team. There are 7 developers now working on this after last week's hiring of 2 outsourced developers. This is getting ridiculous. Finally, itch.io information. We are moving the Dreamworld download onto itch.io. This will make it much easier to share our weekly updates with you. Our itch.io page is going live for new users this week. For existing users, we will be able to share this week's update through email. And coming soon, we will send you free access to the itch.io download. So, you're probably thinking, what do you mean free access to the itch.io? Isn't the itch.io free anyway? No. They have priced their game at about $35 on itch.io. This is an absolute disgrace. Because not only is this a non-existent game, essentially, for $35, which their pricing for this just shows how much they value their work, how amazing they think this is. They truly think that this is worth $35. That's not really the problem. This isn't to buy the game, Dreamworld. This is to buy access to the alpha. and only the alpha of Dreamworld. You don't even get, once again, the full game. You just get the alpha. You have to buy the full game when it comes out. This is so disgusting that I genuinely can't believe that these guys are still getting away with this. Let's be honest, their reception on itch.io has not been great. A couple of seconds as an average playtime off the launcher. They even added a clause that says you are not allowed to backcharge this payment. Guess what? Yes, you can. In fact, I'm pretty certain people have already backcharged payments on this because it's a fucking disgrace. To top it all off, they distributed the wrong version of the launcher, so people couldn't even play it. Then, it turns out that the client they made to give out tokens for the game wasn't even saving the token to a database after it was generated. Meaning that if someone tries to log in with the token, it can't even validate that it exists, because it doesn't. And then, members of my Discord had to go into their Discord to tell them what the issue was, because they didn't have the slightest clue. When are these guys going to fully admit defeat? Because they are incapable of doing the most simple of tasks. At this point, it's not only embarrassing for them, it's embarrassing for everybody on the sideline. The last 2 weeks, I've had quite a lot of people calling me a backseat developer and pointing out things like, oh, but that thing that you just made wouldn't work in multiplayer. And honestly, that doesn't even matter because nothing in the Dreamworld files actually is programmed for multiplayer. But with me being as petty as I am, this to me was a call out. So, internet, challenge accepted. Dreamworld is being remade from the ground up entirely. Starting 3 days ago, we decided we were going to completely remake Dreamworld from the ground up in our own kind of game. This isn't going to be one-to-one for Dreamworld, because we want to actually make something playable. However, we're going to do what Dreamworld set out to do, minus the impossible features of millions of players. So let's give a quick rundown of how this went. Day 0, we did things. By things, I mean we assembled a small team of passionate people, and this is going to be the key foundation of this project. The budget is 0. Absolute 0. There is not a penny being spent on this development, just to prove a point. Secondly, there are absolutely 0 visual assets used at all, and by that I mean store-bought ones. So we'd assembled the team. Things were looking really good. We spent about 3 hours in a design meeting, putting people into the appropriate teams, such as 3D, 2D texturing, programming, story writing, and all the other things that come with it. Quite a few people are multi-talented, so we put them into multiple categories. Day 1, Daz decided to tackle the building system from scratch. You're seeing in the background now the building system at hand. After 6 hours, only 6 hours, we'd got a fully functioning building system with snap rotations, grid snapping, free build, and here's the big thing, it was fully replicated on the network, meaning we could run it in multiplayer, and we did. 6 hours in, we got our first multiplayer test up and running. As you can see in the background, we left the Unreal Engine default mannequin in as a wink and a nudge to our fellow developers, but mostly because we've got somebody working on a character creation system as of now, so there was no point putting a different asset in. While Daz was doing that, I'd started work on a modular smithing system. Now, by that, I mean we want players to be able to smith their own blades that are truly unique in both stats and looks. So naturally, we went down the road of using procedural meshes to make custom weapons, and this turned out really well. This was using a quick demo set of blade pieces that we'd thrown together in like under 5 minutes. One of our artists, Rotsu, is currently also working on blade segments and the modular sword kits. Later that day, once I'd finished most of the groundwork for the smithing system, I started work on the terrain system. Now, this terrain system was an evening of work. It's fully deformable, works on a grid-like system, meaning loading chunks in and out is an easy thing to do, and also there's some secret sauce in there that allows us to make generating this chunk for the first time a little expensive. However, reloading it in for the player is incredibly efficient. We steered away from voxel terrain because, honestly, it just makes a mess everywhere. If you give too much freedom to the player, they're just going to destroy every bit of land around them. So we went with a more Valheim-like system, where you can move the land up and down, but you can't go digging caves and destroying, well, everything. Day 2. Daz made a lot of really nice changes and fixes to the building system, including changing the sizing of all the grid snaps and the blocks. He added a destruction indicator so that when you're destroying the blocks, there's a circle bar that will tell you exactly how long is left. He added wall variants, such as angled walls, inverted angled walls, windows, and door frames. He also added a door, and it works. Daz also added a table. He's on a roll at this point. Again, I want to point out that this single update for Day 2 is just notes from what Daz did. We've currently got an inventory system in the works by Undead. That's being done behind the scenes. Currently really nothing to show from that because it's not finished. During Day 2 I started to get the smithing systems code replicated on multiplayer. And that's where we're at now. Now, I don't want this episode to start off sounding like a devlog, as I'm sure a lot of you would like that to be its own dedicated video showing the process of game design. We definitely had some hiccups in these 3 days, such as we intended to use the Unreal Engine multi-user editor, which basically allows all 3 people that are online at any given time to edit in the same existing workspace. That ended up having issues that were a bit strange when combined with source control, such as Perforce. So we scrapped that in the end as it wasn't massively important. And naturally, you might be thinking, what is this game called? Well, we're calling it Nightmare World. This project is made of a team of people that are passionate about game development, have never released a game, but would like to. They all have some level of skills, whether it be coding, drawing, digital art, animating, 3D modelling, rigging. With this team, we plan to make a game that will be playable by you guys, that will be everything Dreamworld was supposed to be, but only the things that it could be. I'm excited for this project to continue. To follow along, join the Discord in the link below. We've got lots of cool people in there and we will be posting updates in there first. Also, it'll be worth sticking around for when we do our next open playtest, as we only got 5 of us as developers all into the playtest for the first time. Next time, it will be open to more people.